Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to VUS Learning English Podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so happy you are here with me today. Today, we have a very, very special story to share. It is a story about life. It is a story about time. And it is a story about true happiness. This story comes from a man who is 73 years old. He has a message he wants to share with the world. He wants to share it with you. His words might feel a little surprising. They might make you think. He says he might upset you, but it is a good kind of upset. It is the kind that wakes you up, like opening the windows to let in fresh air. So let's get comfortable. Find a quiet place, relax your body, and open your heart to this story. I am so thankful you are joining me. Your time is a gift. Thank you for spending it here. If you enjoy our time together today, I have a small favor. Please tap the like button or give a little heart. It is a small click for you, but it is a very big help for our podcast. It helps more English learners just like you find our little community. And I always love to know where you are. Where are you listening from today? Are you in your home with a warm cup of tea? Are you walking outside under the sun or the stars? Are you on a bus traveling to work or to school? Please tell me in the comments. I read everyone, and it makes me feel connected to you. Okay, are you ready? Let's begin. Section 1. The Great Deception. The Life He Thought He Wanted. The story begins with a man. Let's call him John. John is 73 years old now, but his story for us starts much earlier. It starts when he was a younger man. Imagine a man who looks very successful. He has a good job, a very important job. He worked in a tall building in a big city. He had a big office. It was a corner office. This means it had windows on two sides. He could see the whole city from his chair. This office showed everyone that he was important. He drove a nice car, a German car. It was fast and expensive. It was a symbol of his success. He had a lot of money saved. He checked his bank account. He checked his investments. The numbers were big. The numbers made him feel secure. He was very, very busy. He believed that being busy was a good thing. It was like a medal he wore, a badge of honor. He worked 60 hours a week, sometimes 70 hours a week. This was normal for him. He thought this is what a successful man does. This is what an important person does. You work hard, you build things, you buy things, you save money, and you sacrifice. You give up your time, you give up your rest. His calendar was his boss. It told him what to do every minute of the day. It was full, completely full. Meetings, so many meetings. Conference calls. He talked to people in other cities, in other countries. Business trips. He flew on airplanes all the time, from one city to another. He was a master of being late with personal things. A friend would send a text message. He would see it, but he would not answer. He was too busy. He would answer later. His mother would call. He would not pick up the phone. He would see her name. He would think, I will call her back. But later often became never. A friend would ask to meet for coffee. He would say, let's take a rain check. This means, let's do it another time. But another time rarely came. His family learned his rules, his own family, his wife, his children. They had to schedule time with him. like a client at his office. They had to book an appointment. His son had a school play. His daughter had a birthday party. His wife wanted to have dinner. They had to ask weeks before. Dad, can you come to my play on the 15th? Honey, are you free for dinner on my birthday? And even then, the time was not safe. He often had to cancel. He would say, I'm so sorry. Something came up at work. It's very important. I cannot miss it. This happened again and again. A canceled birthday dinner, a missed school event. He was there, but he was not really there. He lived in a world of almost, a state of almost. He was almost ready to take a big vacation. He was almost at a place where he could finally relax. He was almost finished securing the future for his family. He had a mantra, a phrase he repeated in his mind. Just one more year. Just one more promotion. Then I will have more time. Just one more zero in the bank account. Then we will be safe. Then, he told himself, then I will live my life. Then I will travel. Then I will finally relax and enjoy everything. He and his wife had a dream, a beautiful dream. When they were young and newly married, they talked about it. They wanted to see the cherry blossoms in Japan, the beautiful pink flowers. They promised each other they would go. But they never went. There was always a reason. Work is too busy this year. Maybe next year. Does this feeling sound familiar to you? That little feeling of worry, always there, like a quiet noise in the background. The feeling that you are on a hamster wheel. You are running so fast you are getting tired, but you are not going anywhere. The view never changes. Do you ever have that little thought, that little suspicion that you are spending the best years of your life chasing something that is not real, chasing a carrot on a stick, always just out of reach? John was like a ghost in his own house, a ghost in his own life. He would sit at the dinner table with his family. His body was in the chair, but his mind was not. His mind was far away. It was in an office 1,000 miles away. He was thinking about a meeting. He was replaying a conversation. He was writing an email in his head. He was not listening to his children's stories about their day. He saw his children grow up, but he saw it through a screen. He had a video camera. He was always recording the moment, the birthday party, the first bike ride. He was so busy being the cameraman that he forgot to feel the moment. He forgot to be a father in the moment. He was not a person anymore. He was a collection of roles, a list of titles: executive, provider, manager. He had forgotten something very important. He had forgotten how to just be, how to be a man, a husband, a father, a friend, a human being. The world tells us a lie. Society tells us a lie. It says this way of life is good. It says this is admirable. They give it cool names. They call it the grind. They call it hustle culture. And we are told that our value, our worth as a person, is measured by these things, by how productive you are, by how much money you have, by your job title. So what do? We make a trade, a very bad trade. We trade our time. We trade our health. We trade our relationships with people we love. We trade the real things that make life beautiful. And what do we get? Numbers on a computer screen, a bigger number in our bank account, the approval of other people, people we don't even know very well, people who are also running in their own hamster wheels. John had a friend. Let's call him Mark. Mark was another soldier in this corporate war. They worked at the same company. They used to joke. They would ask each other, "Who is more tired? Who slept less last night?" They laughed about it. They were proud of being so tired. They thought it meant they were working hard. They thought it meant they were important. One day, Mark had a stroke. He was 55 years old. It was a very bad stroke, a massive one. John went to visit him. Mark was in a special hospital, a rehabilitation center. This man, Mark, was so smart. He was a brilliant negotiator. He was sharp and quick. But now he was different. He was struggling. He was trying so hard to remember his own children's names. He could not remember. All the business deals he won, all the money he made, all the success he had. It was all meaningless. It meant nothing. He just sat in his chair, a prisoner in his own mind. He looked out the window at a world he could not join. John saw his friend. He felt very sad for a moment, a sharp pain of sadness. And then what did he do? He left the hospital and he went right back to his 70-hour work week. Why? Because the lie is powerful. It is insidious. It whispers in your ear. It tells you that is sad for him. But you are different. You are the exception. That will not happen to you. John believed the lie. He was a fool. He was sleepwalking, walking slowly towards the edge of a cliff. But he did not see the danger. He was looking at the view. He thought the view from the edge would be so good. He thought it would be worth the fall. He was rich in dollars, but he was bankrupt in minutes. He had no time. He had mastered the art of making a living, but he had failed at the art of living. He was so focused on building a legacy, something to leave behind when he was gone. But he missed the life that was happening right now, the life that was supposed to be the foundation. This was not success. This was a great deception, a terrible trick. Section 2. The shattering. The day the lie broke. It happened on a Tuesday, a normal Tuesday, a completely unremarkable day. Nothing special about it. John was in his big corner office. He was on a conference call, talking about numbers, quarterly projections. Then he felt something strange. A tightness in his chest. It felt like a band, like someone was pulling a thick rubber band around his ribs, tighter and tighter. He ignored it. He thought, "Oh, it's just indigestion." He had eaten a sandwich very fast at his desk. He thought it was the sandwich. Then another feeling started, a strange pain. It started in his left arm, a dull ache that moved down his arm. The voices on the speakerphone started to fade. They were just a low hum, a meaningless drone. A cold sweat started on his forehead. His shirt felt wet. The room started to feel strange. It started to tilt, like being on a boat in a storm. The pressure in his chest was worse now. It was not a band anymore. It was a vice, a heavy tool that squeezes things. Then it felt like a crushing weight, as if someone had put a giant rock on his chest. A huge, heavy boulder. He could not breathe. He remembers sliding out of his expensive chair. The rough carpet scratched his cheek. He was on the floor. The last thing he saw was the corner of his desk. His big mahogany desk. A symbol of all his hard work. A symbol of his success. It looked strange. It looked alien. and it seemed so far away. His next clear thought was in an ambulance. He heard the loud siren. A man's face was above him, a paramedic. The paramedic said, "Stay with us, sir." "Stay with us?" John tried to talk. He wanted to say something, but no words came out. There was only the crushing weight and a feeling, a terrifying feeling of finality. This is the end. He thought, this is it. This is how it ends. On a Tuesday, on my office floor, in the hospital, in the ICU, the intensive care unit, time became strange. It felt like a dream. Hours and days blurred together. He saw a montage of images, beeping monitors next to his bed, the quiet, hushed voices of doctors and nurses. His body did not feel like his own. It was a machine that was failing. It was connected by wires to other machines, machines that were keeping him alive. And in that quiet room, in that stillness, he had nothing to do. He could not work. He could not make phone calls. He could only stare at the white ceiling. And in that moment, the lie shattered. It did not just crack a little, it was an explosion. Imagine a glass window, the window you use to see the world. Imagine that window being hit with a hammer. It breaks into a million tiny pieces. That is what happened to John's view of his life. It was pulverized. And for the first time, he saw the truth. He saw the wreckage of his life. And it was horrifying. It was so clear. Lying in that hospital bed, he did not think about work. He did not think about the stock market. He did not think about his next promotion. All those things, the things that were his whole world for 30 years, they just disappeared. They evaporated into the air, and he saw them for what they were, laughably small, totally insignificant. What came into his mind instead? Regrets. They did not come quietly. They came with the force of a giant wave. A tidal wave of regret crashing over him. He saw his father. He saw a memory from 20 years ago. His father was holding an old photo album. The pages were filled with black and white pictures. His father wanted to tell him stories. Stories about the people in the pictures. Stories about his own life. But John was too busy. He had a report to finish for work. He said to his father, "Maybe later, Dad. I'm really busy right now." His father died 6 months after that day. They never had that later. The stories in that photo album. They died with his father. They were gone forever. Lying in that ICU bed, John felt a terrible pain. He would have given everything he owned. His company, his car, all his money. Just to have that one Sunday back. Just to sit with his father and listen to his stories. Then he saw his wife's face in his mind. He saw her eyes. He saw years of quiet disappointment in her eyes. A sadness she rarely spoke about. He saw all the times he canceled their plans. Another anniversary dinner missed. Another weekend trip postponed. All for a work emergency. He remembered the brochures. The travel brochures for that trip to Japan. The ones with pictures of the cherry blossoms. He saw them in his mind, sitting on a shelf, gathering dust. The cherry blossoms had bloomed, and the petals had fallen. 20 times. 20 seasons had passed, and they were never there to see them. He thought of his brother. They had a stupid fight, an argument about money. It was 10 years ago. That argument created a space between them. A big, cold, empty space. A chasm. His pride kept him from calling. and being too busy was a good excuse. He never picked up the phone to say, "I'm sorry." He thought, what if I die right here in this bed? What if the last words we ever said to each other were angry words? That thought was unbearable. The physical pain in his chest was real, but the pain of these regrets was 1,000 times worse. It was the agony of a life half lived, a life wasted. He realized he had built his own prison, a prison made of success and money and busyness. He decorated the prison with nice things, a nice car, a big office, and he called it a kingdom, but it was just a cage. The doctor came into the room. He was a kind man. His eyes looked tired but gentle. He told John that he was lucky, very, very lucky. The doctor said there was a 95% blockage in a very important artery in his heart, an artery called the widowmaker. Because when it is blocked, people often do not survive. The doctor said, "This is a wake-up call." But for John, it was more than that. It was a resurrection. It was like being born again. The man who was wheeled into that hospital, the man who lived for his job, the man who was always too busy, that man was dead. He died on his office floor. And as John lay there in the quiet room, feeling the weak, fragile beat of his own heart, he knew something. He knew it with every part of his being. The person who walked out of this hospital had to be someone new, someone different. He could not go back to the old way. The price was too high. The price was not just his happiness, it was his soul. Section 3. The Dangerous Lie. Debunking the myths of aging and success. Coming back from the edge of death changes you. It gives you a special kind of clarity. It's like a fire that burns away all the unimportant things, all the noise, all the distractions. When the smoke clears, only the truth is left. And the truth John saw was this: his life, and the lives of almost everyone he knew, were built on lies, dangerous lies, lies that crush the soul. Let's talk about these lies. Let's look at them one by one, so we can stop believing them. The first and biggest lie is this: you have plenty of time. You can live your real life later. We can call this the great postponement plan. To postpone means to put something off until a future time. We treat our youth like money. We treat our middle age like money. We spend it all. We work and work and work. We think we are buying something. We think we are buying a happy future, a golden age of retirement. We defer joy. To defer means to delay. We say, "I will be happy later." We put our passions on layaway. You know, when you buy something at a store, but you don't take it home. You pay a little bit each month, and you can only have it after you finish paying. That is what we do with our joy, with the things we love. But John's heart attack showed him the truth. Later is not real. Later is a fiction. It is a story we tell ourselves. Later is a check that you hope to cash in the future. But the check might bounce. There might be no money in the bank. For John, at 52 years old, later was almost a wooden box, a coffin. There is a lot of research about this. Studies about people at the end of their lives. What do they regret most? It's not their failures. It's not the mistakes they made. The biggest regrets are about the things they did not do. The regrets of inaction. the risks they did not take, the feelings they did not share, the words "I love you" that they did not say, the life they did not live. For John, the dream of the trip to Japan, the trip he never took with his wife, that was a much heavier weight on his heart than any problem he ever had at work. Okay, here's the second toxic lie. It is just as bad as the first one. Success is a ladder, and happiness is waiting at the top. We are taught to believe this from a young age. Life is a ladder. You must climb. Each step on the ladder is a goal. A new job title, a bigger salary, a bigger house. And we believe that with each step up, we get a little closer to happiness. That at the very top of the ladder. A treasure chest of contentment is waiting for us. But this is a mirage. You know, when you are in the desert and you see water in the distance. But when you get there, it's just more sand. It was never real. John experienced this many times. He would reach a big goal. He would get a promotion. He would close the big deal, and he felt a rush of happiness. Euphoria. But how long did it last? A week? Maybe a month? And then the feeling was gone, and the goalposts moved. He needed a new goal, a bigger goal, the next rung on the ladder. This is a real psychological idea. It is called the hedonic treadmill. Hedonic relates to happiness. A treadmill is a machine you run on, but you stay in one place. So, the hedonic treadmill means you keep running and running. Chasing after happiness. But your level of happiness always returns to the same baseline place. You get the new car, you feel happy, then you get used to it, and your happiness goes back to normal. Then you think, I need a bigger house to be happy. And the cycle starts again. The joy we get from outside things, from external achievements, it is fleeting. It does not last. The things that give us deep, lasting fulfillment, things that truly fill our hearts, they are different. Rich relationships with family and friends, meaningful experiences that we share, a feeling of purpose in our life. You cannot climb a ladder to get these things. You have to grow them. You have to cultivate them like a garden. You have to water them every day. John was so busy climbing his ladder, he never stopped to look around, and he never realized his ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. Now, for the third lie. This one is maybe the most insidious of all. Aging is just a slow slide into weakness and irrelevance. This is the lie that makes the first lie seem logical. We think, I will be old and weak later. So I have to work myself to death now. I have to sacrifice my health and my time now to save money for when I'm old and useless. This is a terrible, terrible mistake, a catastrophic misunderstanding of what aging is. Yes, chronological aging is real. The number of years you have been alive goes up. That is a fact. But many of the things we call aging are not because of time. They are the result of a bad lifestyle. They are the result of how we live. The World Health Organization, or the WHO, says this. Much of the loss of strength people feel, the rise in blood pressure, the things we think are just getting old, they are connected more to being inactive than to the number of your birthday candles. If you don't move your body gets weak. It is not about age, it is about activity. Your biological age is not fixed. It is not written in stone. Your chronological age is one number. Your biological age. How old your body acts can be very different. There is some amazing research about this. In the year 2002, a scientist named Dr. Becca Levy did a study. Her research found something incredible. People who have a positive view of getting older, people who believe that aging is a time of growth and wisdom, they lived longer. How much longer? They lived on average 7.5 years longer than people with a negative view of aging. Think about that. Just by changing your beliefs. Your thoughts about getting older. You could add years to your life. Your mindset is a powerful tool. We joke about senior moments. We say, "Oh, I forgot something. I'm having a senior moment." As if our brains just naturally fall apart. But severe cognitive decline, losing your memory in a serious way, is not a normal part of aging. The Alzheimer's Association is very clear about this. They say that a healthy lifestyle can make a huge difference. Things like exercise, a good diet with healthy food, and lifelong learning. Keeping your brain busy. These things can significantly cut your risk of brain problems. Your brain can make new connections at any age. Any age, you just have to use it, challenge it, learn something new. There's a famous saying, we don't stop moving because we get old. We get old because we stop moving. This is so true. These 3 myths, these 3 lies, create a trap, a vicious cycle. First, we fear getting old and weak. Lie number 3. So we decide to sacrifice our present life for the future. Lie number 1. We work all the time to climb the ladder of success. Lie number 2. But this lifestyle, working all the time, being stressed, not moving our bodies, it damages our health. It makes us weaker. It actually speeds up the decline that we are so afraid of. So we arrive at retirement. The golden years we worked so hard for. And what happens? Our bodies are broken. Our minds are exhausted. Our relationships are weak. We are too tired and sick to enjoy the freedom we spent our whole lives earning. This is not a plan for success. This is a blueprint for regret. Section 4, A New Frontier, the science of not just living longer, but living better. After his heart attack, John's focus was simple. It was about survival, just staying alive. That was 21 years ago. Today, in the world of science, something amazing is happening. There is a revolution. For a long time, doctors focused on treating the diseases of old age. Heart disease, cancer, dementia. Now scientists are asking a new question. What if we could treat the aging process itself? What if we could slow it down? Or even reverse it? This sounds like science fiction, but it is real science. And it is happening in the best laboratories in the world. Here is a groundbreaking idea. What if aging isn't just your body getting worn out? Like an old car. What if aging is a loss of information? And what if we could get that information back? This is the big idea from scientists like Dr. David Sinclair at Harvard University. He calls it the information theory of aging. Let me explain it in a simple way. Think of your body like a computer. Your DNA is the hard drive. It has all the original software. The perfect blueprint for how to build you. This blueprint is your genetic code. It is very stable. It doesn't change much. Now, there is another thing called the epigenome. The epigenome is like the software that runs on the computer. It tells each cell which part of the DNA to read. For example, it tells a heart cell, read the heart cell instructions. It tells a skin cell, read the skin cell instructions. The epigenome is the director. It tells everyone what to do. According to the information theory of aging, this is what happens as we get older. The DNA, the blueprint, is still okay, but the epigenome, the software, gets corrupted. It gets scratches and errors. Imagine a beautiful music CD. That is your DNA. The music is perfect. Now imagine the CD player. That is your epigenome. Over time, the CD player gets dusty and scratched. It starts to skip. It plays the wrong part of the song. The music is still on the CD, but the player can't read it correctly. That is what Dr. Sinclair believes aging is. Our cells start to forget their identity. They get confused. They start reading the wrong instructions from the DNA. A skin cell might start acting a little bit like a kidney cell. This loss of information, this confusion, is what we see and feel as aging. But here's the amazing part, the truly astonishing part. The blueprint itself, the DNA, is still there. It's mostly intact. The original perfect information is not lost. So what if we could clean the CD player? What if we could polish the software? What if we could remind the cells of their original job? Dr. Sinclair's lab has shown that this might be possible. They did a famous experiment. It was published in a major journal in 2023. They worked with old mice. These mice had damaged optic nerves. They were blind. The scientists used a special therapy to reboot the epigenetic software in the nerve cells, to remind the cells how to be young, healthy nerve cells again. And what happened? They reversed the aging in those cells. The old blind mice could see again. Think about that. This is not science fiction. This is happening in a lab right now. The goal is to, one day, develop therapies that could do something similar for humans, to repair damaged organs, to restore youthful function. So how does this work? It involves two key players in your body. The first are called sirtuins. You can think of sirtuins as the guardians of your cells, the protectors. They help repair DNA and keep the epigenome clean. They are the managers of the cell. But sirtuins need fuel to do their job. That fuel is the second key player. It is a molecule with a simple name, NAD+. NAD+. Here's the problem. As we get older, our levels of NAD+ go down. They can drop by half or even more. When the fuel tank is low, the guardians, the sirtuins, can't do their job properly. The epigenetic noise gets louder. The CD player gets more scratched. And the aging process speeds up. This might sound complicated. And it might sound like you have to wait for a magic pill. But here is the most empowering part. The part you can control right now, today. You do not have to wait. You can activate these same protective pathways in your body yourself. How? Through simple, powerful lifestyle choices. Things like exercise. When you get your heart rate up, your body naturally makes more NAD+. It's like filling up the fuel tank. Things like intermittent fasting. This means going for a period of time without eating. When you do this, your body goes into a protective mode. It turns on the sirtuin genes. It tells the guardians to wake up and start cleaning house. When you do these things, you are doing your own epigenetic maintenance. You are helping your body polish the software. You are telling your cells to remember how to be young. Now, it is very important to be clear about something. This is a new field of science. Some of the predictions are very bold. Dr. Sinclair has famously said that he believes the first person who will live to be 150 years old has already been born. He has also said that aging reversal pills could be available in about a decade. These are exciting ideas, but they have also created some controversy. Other scientists in the field think he is being too optimistic. They think these things are much further away. But even with the controversy, the basic fundamental science is becoming very strong. The idea that the aging process is not fixed. The idea that it is malleable, that we can change it. This is becoming a cornerstone of modern biology. So what does all this new science mean for you? Today, it does not mean you should postpone your life even longer. It does not mean you should wait for a magic pill to start living. It means the exact opposite. It means your health span is more important than ever. Lifespan is the number of years you live. Health span is the number of years you live in good health. This science is an urgent message. It is a mandate. It is telling you to live well right now. The choices you make today, the food you eat, the way you move your body, the way you rest, these choices are literally programming your body for the future. You are the software engineer for your own health. Section 5, the application, how to unlearn the lie before it's too late. For the past 21 years, John has lived a new life. He calls it the epilogue to his old life. An epilogue is the chapter at the end of a book that tells you what happened after the main story. These last 2 decades of his life have been richer, more vibrant, more full of love and joy than all the years of success that came before. He is happier and healthier at 73 than he was at 33 or 43. And it's not because of a miracle. It's not because of luck. It is because he made a choice. He chose to unlearn the lies. This is the wisdom he learned, the wisdom he paid for with a piece of his heart, literally, and he is giving it to you, to all of us, for free. Here is how you can do it too. Here are the practical steps. First, conduct the tomorrow test. This is a very simple but very powerful question. Ask yourself this question at the end of every day. If I were to die tomorrow, would I be happy with how I lived today? Not the life you plan to live in the future. Not the person you hope to be someday. The day you just had, today. Was it filled with things that truly matter to you? Did you connect with the people you love? Did you feel joy? Did you laugh? Did you learn something? Did you feel alive? If the answer is no, then you have an urgent problem. Today is not a rehearsal. Today is the real performance. Second, radically redefine your rich. What does it mean to be rich? Our society tells us it is about money. John traded his time for money. He spent all his time working to make money. And then he lay in a hospital bed. And in that moment, he realized he would give all the money back. Every single dollar, for just a little more time. Time is the real currency of life. Time and experiences and relationships. These are the true assets. So I want you to start a new list. A rich list that has nothing to do with money. On this list, you can write down your real treasures. How many sunsets did you watch this month? How many times did you walk in nature? How many deep, honest conversations did you have? How many times did you laugh until your stomach hurt? How many new things did you try? That is your real portfolio. That is the measure of a truly rich life. Third, curate your time like a museum. Imagine you are the curator of a famous art museum. Your job is to choose what goes on the walls. You would only choose the most beautiful, meaningful, important pieces of art. You would not fill the museum with junk. Your time is your museum. It is your most precious, non-renewable asset. You can never get it back. So stop giving it away to things that do not belong in your museum. Stop giving it to things that do not enrich your soul. This means you must learn the power of the word no. It is a small word, but it is very powerful. No to the extra project at work that will steal your weekend. No to the social event that you feel obligated to go to, but that drains your energy. No to scrolling on your phone for hours. Every time you say no to something that doesn't matter, you create space. You create an empty wall in your museum, and that space allows you to say a powerful yes. A yes to playing a game with your child. A yes to calling your mother. A yes to reading a book. A yes to sitting in silence and just being. John told a story about this. A few years after his heart attack, he was offered a job, a consulting gig. It would have paid a lot of money. The old John would have said yes instantly, but the new John said no. He said no to that job. So he could say yes to something else. He said yes to spending 2 months in Italy with his wife. They did not have a big plan. They walked, they cooked simple meals, they sat in cafes, and they talked. He said they talked more in those 2 months than they had in the previous 10 years. They reconnected. They remembered why they fell in love. John says it was the best business decision he ever made, saying no to the money to say yes to his life. Fourth, practice active presence. This is about being with the people you love, truly with them. When you are with your family, your partner, your children, your friends, put your phone away, not just face down on the table. Put it in another room, out of sight, out of mind. Look them in the eyes when they are talking to you. Listen to their words. Listen to the feeling behind their words. Be curious about their life. Remember John's story about his father and the photo album? Don't let that be your story. That is a heavy regret to carry for the rest of your life. We live with a quiet assumption. We think the people we love will always be there. But they won't. Life is fragile and uncertain. But also consider this. People are living longer than ever before. A study shows that about 1/4 of people who are 65 years old today will probably live to be 90 years old. So you might have more time than you think. But that time is only valuable if you use it well, if you are present for it. Fifth, move your body to activate your genes. Let's change how we think about exercise. Stop thinking of it as a chore or a punishment for eating dessert. Think of it as a direct conversation with your DNA. Think of it as sending instructions to your cells. Every time you get your heart rate up, every time you move your body, you are boosting your NAD plus levels. You are telling your longevity genes, the sirtuins, to wake up and clean the house. You are literally instructing your cells to stay young and healthy. The official recommendation from health organizations is about 150 minutes of moderate activity per week. That sounds like a lot. But let's break it down. That is just a little over 20 minutes a day. That's it. You don't have to run a marathon. You don't have to join a fancy gym. Walk briskly. So you can still talk, but you are breathing a little harder. Dance in your living room to your favorite song. Play with your children or grandchildren at the park. Do some gardening. Find something you enjoy. This is not about looking good in a swimsuit. This is about your health span. It is about having the energy and vitality to enjoy your long life. It is about telling your cells to be young. Finally, embrace a mindset shift. This brings us back to the work of Dr. Becca Levy. Your beliefs about aging can become your reality. The science shows this. So let's start to change our beliefs. Start to see the passing of years as an accumulation of wisdom, not just wrinkles. See it as collecting stories, not just scars. Look for role models. Find older people who are vibrant, active, curious, and joyful. See them as the normal case, not the rare exception. They are showing you what is possible. John says, I can tell you with every fiber of my being, my 70s are infinitely more joyful, more peaceful, and more meaningful than my 30s ever were. He traded the stress of the grind for the peace of being present. He traded the emptiness of chasing money for the richness of deep connection. He traded his corner office for a front row seat to his own beautiful life. Now, John has a request for you, and I want to pass it along. He asks you to do something for him and for yourself. Not later, not tomorrow, not someday. Right now, when this podcast episode is over, please pause, take out a real piece of paper and a pen, or open the Notes app on your phone. Write down one thing, just one thing, that you have been putting off for some day. Maybe it's a trip you have always dreamed of. Maybe it's a phone call you need to make to a friend or family member. Maybe it's learning a new skill like playing the guitar or painting. Maybe it's starting a garden. Just write down one thing. Now, under that, I want you to do something else. Write down the very first, smallest possible step you can take to make it happen. The tiniest step. If your dream is the trip, maybe the first step is just to Google the destination for 5 minutes. If it's the phone call, the first step is looking up the phone number. If it's learning to paint, the first step is buying one small, cheap paintbrush set online. Make the first step so small and so easy that you cannot say no. Then take out your calendar. Schedule a time to do that tiny step this week. Make an appointment with your dream. This is how it begins. Not with a giant leap, but with one small intentional step. And one more thing, a way we can all help each other. In the comments section below, I would love for you to share your Sunday skipped. What is a moment you regret missing? A time you chose work or being busy over a person or an experience? Let's be honest about the true cost of this lie. Your story could be the kind word, the gentle shake, the wake-up call that someone else needs to hear today. Your story has power. If this story stirred something in you, if it made you feel something, please share this episode. Share it with one person you know, someone you see running on that same hamster wheel, someone you love. And if you want to hear more stories like this, more about how to build a life of meaning and joy, please subscribe or follow the podcast. I would be honored to have you back. Now, a final thought from John. A final piece of wisdom from our 73-year-old friend. He says there is a misconception, a wrong idea. We think the opposite of happiness is sadness, but it's not. The opposite of happiness is boredom. It's the gray half-lived life, the feeling of running in place, the numb feeling that so many of us accept as normal life. The great lie is that playing it safe is the smart choice, that following the script is the wise path. But the biggest risk you will ever take in your life is to reach the end of your days and look back and realize that you never truly lived at all. John says that his heart attack was the worst day of his life and also the best day of his life. It was a brutal, terrifying gift. It woke him up from his sleepwalking. But you don't need a catastrophe. You don't need to wait for a terrible event. You don't need to find yourself on a hospital gurney to finally make a change. You can choose to wake up right now. Consider this your wake-up call. This is John speaking to you now. He says, I am 73 years old. And I am not upset with you. I am worried for you. But I am also very, very hopeful for you. Because the truth, while it can be upsetting at first, is also liberating. It sets you free. You have a choice right here in this moment. You can choose to trade the empty promise of someday for the beautiful reality of today. I did not get a second chance at life just to waste it. And neither should you. Your time is now. Thank you so much for listening today, my friend. This was a big story with a deep message. Take a moment to let it sink in. Be gentle with yourself. Remember that learning English is a journey. It takes time. And building a happy life is also a journey. It also takes time, one small step at a time. You are doing a wonderful job. Thank you again for sharing your precious time with me. I am truly grateful. Please don't forget to share your one thing in the comments below. I cannot wait to read what you are saying yes to. See you next time, my friend.